Hi everybody, welcome to Wednesday Storytime. Today we're going to be reading a story called Mira Mira by Mrs. Pablo. Mira had some issues, which you'll hear about in the story, and then we'll talk about it after the second part. So you'll hear this story in two parts. So this is part one. Ready? Okay, here we go. It took her a very long time to go to sleep. No matter which way she turned or what pillow she used, Mira could just not fall asleep. She was tired, but her mind kept repeating what happened at school, as if she was watching a movie where someone would hit the rewind button and replay it. She opened her eyes and stared into the darkness of her room. Well, it wasn't really only her room, since she shared it with her sister Mandy. After her eyes adjusted to the dark, she could make out the form of her sister sleeping in the twin bed on the other side of the room. Mandy was lucky. She didn't have the same problems Mira did. Mira liked school, but she was not very good at all the subjects. The worst part was that she got teased a lot. Every day, to be exact. Today was no different. Mira had gotten off the bus after Mandy and was trying not to attract any attention. She did fine until she got to the corner where she had to turn to go to her classroom. A group of kids were standing outside the door waiting for the bell to ring. The minute they saw her, one of them called out, "Hey, Mira!" Then it started. A couple of them started that familiar strain of words Mira hated. "Mira, Mira, on the wall, who's the weirdest one of all?" Every once in a while, they would change it to ugliest or plainest or dumbest. It didn't matter because to Mira, every word they said made her want to be invisible or so small she could fit under a rock. From the moment the teasing started, Mira's day would go from bad to worse. Today, she tripped in gym class and bruised her knees. There was teasing again. During what looked like a safe lunch of chicken nuggets turned ugly when ketchup dripped on her shirt, and no matter how hard she scrubbed, it looked like she had a battle with the entire bottle. So there was more teasing in the lunchroom. Mira couldn't wait for the day to be over and let out a big sigh of relief when she closed the front door of her house behind her. She leaned on it as if to try to keep the world outside and closed her eyes. She opened her eyes to find her mother calling from the kitchen. "Miranda, bring your lunch bag into the kitchen so we can clean up and prepare for tomorrow." Mandy had already skipped into the kitchen and was enjoying a snack of apples, caramel dip, and milk. Sounds good. Mira braced herself to the questions that would come from her mother about the big red stain on her shirt. For the fourth time that day, Mira wished she was invisible. For the most part, Mira kind of was invisible. No one really took notice of her unless they needed her for something like finding the remote control or taking the dog for a walk, or if she was in trouble. She didn't mind not getting any attention, but just for once, she would like to know how it felt to be popular and well-liked like Mandy. Mandy wasn't a bad sister. She loved Mira, but she didn't seem to see how different they were. Mandy did not notice how others treated Mira. Maybe it was because Mandy was always busy being invited to birthday parties or sleepovers with friends. Mira wished that once in a while she would get the chance to do the same things, but because she was so shy, it didn't bother her too much. Mira looked at the clock on the big bedside table next to her bed. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. A big tear slid down the side of her face into the pillow. After that came another and another until Mira's nose was stuffed up. It was good that her mom kept tissues next to her bed because she really needed them tonight. A big hiccuping sob came out, then more tears. Mira did the only thing her heart would let her do. She cried out a desperate plea. She whispered to the dark night air between sobs, "If there was anyone out there, please help me." Her only friend in the whole wide world, her neighbor Jamie, told her about praying. Jamie prayed about everything: colds, tests, elbow scrapes, her food, her hamster, and all sorts of other things. Jamie went to church every Sunday. Mira had gone with her once and was so shy she couldn't answer any of the questions. But everyone was nice anyway. Jamie had asked her to come again, but Mira's family seemed to be busy whenever Jamie invited her. Mira took a deep breath. She thought she should calm down and pray and re-pray her prayer just in case it needed to be just like Jamie's kind of prayer. Even if it was dark and no one was awake to see her, Mira closed her eyes since Jamie did that. Her head was on the pillow, but Mira bowed her head until it almost touched her chest, just like Jamie would have done. Then she whispered words, hoping they were said in the right way. Jesus, thank you for listening to me. My name is Mira, but my real name is Miranda. My friend Jamie says you are kind and will answer prayers. I hope so, because I have a big problem. You see, I'm not very smart or pretty. I'm kind of happy to be me, but I'm sort of clumsy and not very good at sports. Other kids call me names today, and they did it so much I can't sleep. I wish I was invisible, but that is not a good wish. So I know you probably won't do that for me. Please help me because my heart hurts and I just want to cry a lot. Mira almost opened her eyes when she realized she forgot a part of what Jamie always did. She hurried to add, "In Jesus' name, amen." When Mira opened her eyes again, it was morning. She didn't remember falling asleep or even what happened in the night. She pulled the covers over her head to block out the sunlight and stretched her arms and legs and yawned. When she was finished yawning, she suddenly remembered what happened in the night. She remembered crying and found all the wadded up tissues next to her pillow. She remembered that the clock had read 1 o'clock. Then she remembered her prayer. What happened, she wondered. Did this Jesus hear her prayer? Why couldn't she remember anything after her prayer? Mira remembered how sad she was when she prayed, but all that sadness was gone. Mira had not noticed Mandy stretching in the other bed and was startled when Mandy called her name. "Morning, Mira!" Mira hurriedly hid all the tissues under her pillow before Mandy saw them, because if Mandy saw them, she'd tell Mom. Then Mira would have to explain. Mira sniffed. That was funny. Her nose didn't act as if she had cried at all. Normally, if Mira cried in the night, she'd wake up sounding like she had a cold, and her mom would check her temperature and look inside her mouth at her tonsils. Mira got out of bed cautiously. Somehow she felt a little different, but she wasn't about to test her good feelings. Okay, she made it to the bathroom without tripping over the rugs or stuff on the floor. She made it all the way to school that morning without incident. She hadn't dripped toothpaste on her pajamas. She ate her breakfast and drank her chocolate milk without even needing a napkin, although she wiped her mouth to be polite. Usually when she drank chocolate milk, one of her very favorites, she always dripped on her school clothes or on the table. Mira had propped her chin on her palm and was thinking about her morning when she heard her name. "Mira!" She was very slow about responding. "Mira, wake up! Miranda Marie Roman, open your eyes." Mira tried to open her eyes, but it was like she was coming out of a fog. Besides, weren't her eyes already open? After all, she was sitting at her desk at school. Or was she? When Mira was able to open her eyes, she was curled up, all snug under her covers, with her left hand under her chin, just like in her dream. Mira's mother was standing over her now, since she had to call Mira several times and had gotten no answers. Mira blinked several times and her forehead wrinkled as she squinted, trying to focus on her mother's face. "Miranda Marie, you need to get up or else we'll be late." The sunlight helped to clear Mira's head so she could focus. What time was it? And what day was it? Mira threw back her sheets and swung her legs over the side of the bed. She got up so fast that when she stood up, her head bumped into her mother's chin. "Ouch, Miranda! Watch where you are doing." Mira sat down so she could think. Mandy was busily making her bed, if that's what you could call it. She was throwing her bed covers over her bed, but under the lumpy covers were Mandy's bunched up pillow, her pajamas, and a couple of her favorite stuffed animals, and the book she was in the middle of reading. Mandy was all dressed up, but she wasn't in her school clothes. Mira was thinking really hard when she finally realized that she'd be late for the bus anyway because it was already 8 a.m. From then on, Mira didn't have much time to think about anything because her mother scooted her into the bathroom to brush her teeth. Mira tried to listen to her mom, but she wanted to think about her dream. Mira's mother was saying, "If you'd listen more, then you'd know. We promised Jamie that we'd have you and Mandy ready to ride to school with her mother since you all were going on a field trip." Oh, yeah, Mira thought. The field trip. Mira hurriedly scrubbed her teeth with her toothbrush, rinsed, and was so thankful that she had had her bath the night before. She left her pajamas in a heap next to her bed and started in on the clothes her mom had laid out for her. She pulled the sweater over her head and pulled her favorite jeans on. The socks came next, and then the shoes. Mira remembered to run the brush through her hair before she ran downstairs. Her mom was standing at the bottom of the stairs yelling, "Mira, hurry!" Mira took the Pop-Tart her mother handed her and took a big bite before handing it back. She slipped her arms to the sleeves of her lightweight coat, then bent down to pick up the backpack that her packed lunch was in. She followed Mandy out the door and remembered to turn and wave at her mother. All right, that's part 1. Well, part 2 is coming up, and some exciting things are going to happen to Mira. You wait and see. So tune in to the second part of Mira Mira by Mrs. Pablo. Okay, see you soon.